Greetings. Joseph Kursky here, geographer, educator, GIS professional, with one key strategy for teaching Geographic Information Systems. Make it focused. Make it focused. Focus each week or another period of time, 2 weeks, a month, etc., on a problem in one sector of society. There is no sector where you cannot find data or devise real-world problems around. Crime, energy, water, historic or sacred structures, biodiversity, land use, land forms, climate, weather, urban forms, natural hazards, social, racial, and economic inequalities, land use, agriculture, transportation, utilities, supply chain management, and a host of others. Focusing sections of courses and the accompanying readings, videos, discussions, and hands-on activities builds content knowledge around a specific subject or knowledge domain. Doing so also, over time, I believe, helps students realize that GIS and the spatial perspective, hey, they're relevant to every 21st century problem we face. Doesn't this focused advice conflict with the previous strategy and advice about considering problems holistically that I have in other videos? No, because in your courses you can include thought-provoking questions to students in online discussion boards, face-to-face conversations, and quizzes that go beyond the lesson. For example, in one of my lessons on citing a business using GIS, I include this question. If you were really doing this site selection as a consultant for this specific convenience store chain outside of this course, what other data or what other themes would you consider? In my activities, students use traffic volume, demographic characteristics, consumer preferences with fuel, gas, and lottery tickets figuring prominently in convenience stores, and drive times to competitors to determine the ideal location for a convenience store in a metropolitan area. But this question helps them to consider variables that we did not have time to consider in class, such as zoning, left turns versus right turns, major centers of employment, commuting patterns, and others. I ask similar kinds of questions after other activities. If you were really doing this study as a consultant, what variables, themes, and other considerations would you pursue? These and other questions encourage students to think about other aspects of the physical or cultural environment, and thus that the world is a complex place, right folks? And the variables that change over space and time, and they're all connected. It also reminds students that in their own future workplace, time, budget, and staffing constraints will always force problems to be dealt with by simplifying them, at least in some way. There's never enough time to consider every single variable or every single contingency in the workplace. That's the reality of the world in which we live and the organizations in which we work. But GIS gives us the best hope we have of considering at least most of the key considerations and ramifications. For more, see my essay, What are 10 Key Strategies for Teaching GIS? Thanks, and I salute you for being an innovative GIS educator.